It's the 95th episode of the Elite Cosplay Podcast. I am Holly.
And I am Kevin.
Heyo.
How are you doing?
Great.
Oh, wow. Yeah, me too.
I have a little bit of a cold. I didn't think I could get a cold this early in the season, but apparently it's true. So
Very cold right
it is
this
what it
time
is.
of the year.
What?
It's like the end of September, or it's mid-September, and it's kind of chilly
It's
outside.
like 70 degrees.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's a little chilly.
Yeah.
It's 66 right now, according to this,
Oh no.
with a peak of 75.
Fall is happening.
I know. I'm not
Kevin
ready
and I
for
are running
this.
a 10K tomorrow. LOL.
Running.
So yeah, a 10K. That's a lot. So I'm hoping it's cold tomorrow. I don't care about that. Anyways, so from last week's podcast, we got a couple of comments. Thank you, everybody. Teresa said the anime Elite Cosplay was talking about the one with the red scissors and the talking sailor outfit is Kill la Kill.
Ah, yes. So obvious. It was such an easy name that I could not remember. Thank you.
I mean, we both knew what it was.
Yeah.
We just couldn't say it. I don't know. It wouldn't come out of our mouths. Anyways, thank you, Teresa.
Are you related to a ghost?
No, So for anybody who doesn't, we probably talked about this before.
We have
In
talked
Japan,
about it in the past.
Boo from Mario is called Teresa, and I don't know why. And Kevin just loves it.
I do.
He loves that fact.
Teresa.
Destiny Amber says, as someone who has volunteered for differently sized cons in the past, no con has everything organized and controlled. It's impossible to manage everything and try to predict what could happen, even if everything is planned as much as possible. Yeah, I agree. It's probably a little easier when it's a smaller con because there's just obviously
fewer people,
less people, but you
Yeah.
also have less volunteers
Yeah.
probably. As
you
a
mean
rate
less
of that.
organizers?
Yeah. So yeah, no, I totally get it, and I think I've heard stories. The problems Kevin and I have run into are just common sense things where it's it's like a rule,
Right. It's a
so,
policy.
It's to us it's so stupid, but they have it in place obviously for a reason.
Some type of reason, right?
That we can't understand sometimes, but they need to do it. But that's all our complaints are.
Well, it's because
and we run
somebody,
into people that don't know.
one person
things
messed
are.
it up for everybody,
Yeah.
and then
That's how everything
now
is.
that's why rules exist.
As photographers, we run into that on
Many
the reg.
times, yes.
So, but yeah, no, I appreciate people who volunteer because thankfully I've never seen anyone harass a volunteer, but I assume it happens.
Oh, all the time.
For not getting the answer.
My baby. No, sorry. It's always the crazy moms that it's yeah.
Tough Tink says, here's a piece of cosplay news to talk about for next time, and I was totally going to talk about this, so we're on the same wavelength, Tough Tink. Mango SIrene's live stream regarding why she quit professional cosplay and addressing some of the problems with monetization, mental health, and body image in the cosplay community, which is kind of going to be the main swoop of our podcast today, actually. So Kevin, you said you had something.
No, that's all right. My thing can be pushed to next
let's start
week.
off with yours because
No,
you said yours was short.
so minor. All right.
Okay, before the podcast, Kevin's like, I got something.
All right.
And I was like, all right.
So people that build swords or sword-like things due to the more restrictive rules that are coming out of cons that
Yeah. So we talked about that last year. Last week.
So I was watching a show and they mentioned that there's this new paint called Molotow Chrome.
Can you spell? We'll link this.
Molotow.
Oh.
It's traditionally a chrome marker, but the people in the RPF forums are praising by it that it looks like metal when you paint it onto a flat surface.
So Molotow.
Molto. I think it's pronounced Molto. So what you can do is
I'm thinking of a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah. It comes as a marker, but you can buy a refill, which is just the paint itself, and then you can paint it on.
Cool. So do you have the link to the RPF form?
I don't.
Oh. Do you have where you found
tested?
Oh, tested. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll link to that.
Yeah.
Cool. No, that sounds really cool because it is hard with I mean, spray paints come a long way in the land of metallic colors, like like for my diva that we did this year.
Yeah. The gold.
The orange I was gonna talk about. Well, I did for Triss that I didn't finish on time. The gold actually ended up looking pretty good for spray paint. And for Diva's headphones and some of her accessories, it was like this metallic-y orange. And I used like a car.
Is an engine.
It's for engine. It's
high
for like really
paint.
hot, like things that could handle like extreme heat. So it was like for internal car parts and stuff to make them look cool when you opened your hood. But I used it and it looked really cool. It had like sparkles in it, and Kevin complimented it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It looked really good. It looked really, really good. I was surprised at either we've gotten better at painting or the paint has gotten better.
The paint has gotten better since the last, because I hadn't cosplayed in a couple years. So
yeah, and I remember like growing up, we had this can of gold spray paint. I always tried to use it, and it always turned out like a matte, like mustard yellow almost.
I think that's what a lot of us are used to, and so that's why I said, it has come a long way. Like the metallic spray paint lines, the past couple years have definitely been like, woo, sexy.
Yeah.
So this chrome, if it's so shiny, that's crazy. But I'm wondering,
he painted a foam sword, like
it
looked like a metal sword. It was remarkable.
But I'm wondering if, like you said a little bit, if it'll get people in some trouble because it's like too good.
Good. Yeah, exactly.
It's too good because a lot of people we've worked with that have swords, it's like a metallic-y silver, but you can tell that it's not it's not like reflective like an actual sword would be. So that's an interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting. I hope maybe if any of you try that, let us know, or maybe we'll grab one depending on how expensive. I assume it's expensive.
It's not. No, it's like $5 or $15 for a pen. And he was able to like only use a little bit of the refill to paint the whole sword.
Wow.
Yeah, it just goes on really thin coats, but it looks really good.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go. Just a quick thing before we get to talking about the Mango SIrene stuff. There is a cute. I will link this. It's on Mashable.
Okay.
But it's a retired couple that they got, their daughter cosplays, so that's how they knew about it.
Okay.
And stuff. The gist of it was, they're both retired and they didn't want to just sit on their butts all day.
Sure,
So they were like, let's cosplay together.
Yeah, good.
They're both they don't want to give their exact age, but they're in their 60s, they said.
Is this the grandma one with the Looney Tunes? No, what was the one that I had a couple weeks ago?
I don't know.
Oh, all right.
The one in San Francisco.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'll link it. It's super cute. They do they do everything they do is couples. So they do in Star Wars, everything. It's the page just exploded in my face while I was looking at it. So, but they're called, their name on their social media is Cosplay Parents. So it's really cute. They go to Dapper Day at Disneyland. They did Wonder Woman. I don't know. It's just, I'm really liking that people that are a little older are getting
embracing the culture. Yeah, for sure.
Getting into cosplay and doing what they, want to do. Not just cosplaying as older characters. Just, picking stuff they like and doing it. Because that's the message that the cosplay community tries to put out there.
Yeah. Totally. No, that's good. That's good. And it's, I'm glad that like the mentality too has changed, like
it hasn't, but
I think it has. Like,
well, we're going to get into that in a second.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So before we start this, we'll just do our quick mid-roll. If you'd like to support us, you can go to patreon.com/elitecosplay where we have stuff. We have a video up there right now that's for Patreons only. Patrons only for them. So if you want to see it, you gotta.
It'll never be available for
be
YouTube.
On YouTube.
Wow.
It's called How We Got the Shot, and Kevin's in it, and he's only 50% awkward this time.
Yes.
I'd like to give thanks to people on our shout out tier, which is Bethany, Allison, and Monica. Thank you guys for supporting us. And if you don't want to do Patreon, you can support us by going to elitecosplay.com/shop. And thank you to the people who have supported us in the past. We love you.
This month's Patreon comes with
a
special splash pack.
Yeah, it does.
So,
but I already finished my rolls, so you. I'm just joking.
Again, nothing.
Yes, instead of a color grading action pack this month, it will be water splashes that you can overlay in your photos, if you ever need it, which is fun. Overlays are fun. Okay, so Kevin has no idea who Mango SIrene is.
I don't.
I'll just say that.
It sounds like a Twitch streamer.
She was. That was part of it.
Okay.
Now so personally I've heard of her. I've seen her stuff. I've watched her Twitch stream before. I've watched a couple YouTube videos. I've seen her at cons. And I knew she made patterns for simplicity, and that's about as deep as I go. So if I say something wrong, I'm sorry. It's just from what I've gotten from this video she put out and from what I've just known from the past. She's been in the cosplay community for a long time. I think since she was like 16. I'm not sure how old she is now.
I was gonna say that's a relative term.
I'm gonna say she's in her at least early 20s though.
Okay, so 4 or 5 years at least.
Yeah, I'd probably, if I had to guess, I'm just gonna throw it out there, I'd put her at 23. But that's just a guess.
Okay.
I don't know. She might be older. So Mango SIrene was very popular. Or is, I don't really know how to word it. And so she was able to be a professional cosplayer for the past couple years. So meaning that was her job.
Full-time job. Okay.
Yeah. So she would go to, be invited as a guest, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And like I said, Simplicity had commissioned her to do patterns and stuff. Yep. So there's a lot going on. And like I said, she also had a stream where she would stream her making her cosplays. It was a very relaxing stream. So that's why I liked watching it sometimes.
Okay.
I didn't know when this was happening, but I guess in May she had made an announcement that she was leaving. She was going to stop.
Everything?
Yes, everything.
Okay.
Like not like cold turkey. Like I will not be updating my social. Like basically it sounded like, I don't want to call it an existential crisis, but something in her life big had changed. A family member passed away. And it made her reevaluate priorities in her life. And part of that was her future.
Now, we know it was somebody who passed away?
Yeah,
or are we speculating? Okay.
She outwardly said this.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of repeating what
you've already
said.
Yes,
yeah.
that's fine.
Sorry for people who've already watched this. I know there are some people.
Sorry, I'm coming in blind now.
Who have already watched this. So I have to explain it to Kevin. Because it's 3 hours long.
Yes.
I listened to it on double speed before this. So.
Okay. All right. So
you're
fresh on your mind.
And I skipped around a little bit because there was some that was a little babbly. I will say that. And that's not her fault. I babbled as well.
And you still listen to this podcast, people.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
So it made her reevaluate her priorities. And she decided, cosplay is not making me happy. This isn't what I want to do for my future. It's not a lifelong thing anyways.
Okay.
So I'm just going to stop. And she told everybody. She put it on her social media. And she said, I will not be updating this social media. I will not be streaming. My Patreon will be shutting down this day. My mailbox, my P.O. box will be shutting down this day. Like everything.
Okay.
Like just not like, oh, maybe I'll come back. I just need a break. It's just like, I'm done.
Okay.
And then a couple days ago this week, she live streamed and is basically a breakdown of like why she left and like all the reasons stemming from them. The reasons being monetization, insecurity, community pressures and sexualization, body image, self-esteem, and anxiety and mental health.
Okay.
There's a lot of information, so it's hard for me to like break it down.
Sure.
So I'm gonna do it very simply. Hopefully she'll transcribe this. She said she was going to. It sounded like she was reading from like she had written everything down. She was reading.
Sure.
It was very
talking
script-like.
Points.
Yeah, talking points. Yes. But her stream was glitchy, so like the audio's like
Okay.
so it's very hard to listen to because of that. So, but she said she was going to transcribe it because it sounded like she had a lot of it written down anyway. So hopefully in the future, I will link to this stream that's on YouTube that she has posted. So anybody who wants to listen to it can, because I'm not going to do it justice. I'll say that right now. She brought up a lot of interesting points that I think a lot of cosplayers struggle with and identify with. That being anxiety being a big one.
Yeah.
A lot of us do struggle with that in general, but cosplay can bring it out a lot, especially when it comes to pressure to perform, pressure to, if you're, on social media or making a YouTube or whatever, pressure to be, always on or something. The like body issues, like cosplay,
being expected to look a certain way,
maintain, she had like a little area about like, should we Photoshop people, or like what's like, it was in the body issues thing, and it was like, so like where do we draw the line? Like if a girl is wearing a like crop top outfit, should she not eat breakfast because she wants her tummy to remain thin instead of having a bloat in a way because you ate food, and then should she be hungry all day and miserable because she wants to look good in her cosplay, or should she eat the breakfast, take the photos, feel insecure, and then Photoshop herself later because she doesn't like the way she looks in the photos or whatever.
Okay.
I think we run into that a lot.
Yeah.
As photographers. We yell at people to eat.
Yes, we do tell people to eat.
And I see where that's coming from. I wore a crop top this year for Anime Expo, and I didn't even want to eat breakfast because I was like, no, because then I'll like look all like, bleh, after you eat. And I, in the end, am not frantic about eating in general. So like the fact that I was even like, says a lot.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not speaking much right now because I'm just absorbing.
Soaking it in,
Yeah, you're throwing a lot at me. There's a lot of different.
No, it was a lot of information. I mean, this is 3 hours long, and it's basically like a huge breakdown of like so many problems that she ran into being a professional cosplayer. People being fake, people only caring about like being sexy, and like what cosplay you should cosplay next, because if it's not what people want to see,
right,
blah blah blah, always being on, like having a personality that's not yours in a way, because
but that's
we'll get into it.
Okay.
It's just,
okay.
I'm trying to. I know I'm missing so much because this is just like
we're condensing 3 hours into 5 minutes.
Into like
so yes, that's going to happen.
Worrying about making money.
Yeah.
Having to have people, give you tips, or as we all know, like Patreon or Twitch, and doing all this just to make money.
Yep.
She does suffer from a lot of anxiety, so there's like I don't know if you experience this, Kevin, because I don't know what your anxiety is, but sometimes when you have so much anxiety, you kind of shut down, and like even though there's like, I need to get this done, and that's what's giving me anxiety, but then there's like, your anxiety is also preventing you from doing that thing. So it's like a catch-22. Like you can't really like,
you can't
you're
do
just
more
in your
because
head going, and I think she experienced some of that. There's also like con crunching is like the most stressful, as a lot of is very stressful. You're not sleeping, you're not making a good product, or not product, outfit, because you're
rushing
crying.
through it. Yeah, sure.
So there was a lot of that because of anxiety, and then she'd have to con crunch, and then it's not very healthy. I think that's a lot of it. She said she made a pro and con list, and the only thing on the pro list was travel. So
sure,
that says a lot. That means that like it was basically like when she got down to it, that's all she liked anymore about it was traveling. She didn't like anything else.
Okay. And that's everything. Or at least
that's not everything.
That's some of the big takeaways that you got from it.
Yes,
Okay.
there was a chunk that I did not connect with, so I kind of was skipping over it a little bit.
I mean, everybody has their own takeaway.
Yes, everybody has their own takeaway. So I apologize. I don't remember what part that was, but I did do a couple skips, but I did listen to the majority of it. So I think it's good that someone so big and has the reach is telling people about what it's like to actually be a professional cosplayer and what it's like to interact with people and so how something she loved, a hobby she loved, became something she hated.
Right. So I have a lot to talk about here.
Okay.
I don't know where you want me to start.
Oh, you can start anywhere.
So I'll put on the devil's advocate hat.
We'll
always start there.
Yeah.
And I'll say that, if, this happens to a lot of people outside of even the cosplay world. They let their hobbies turn into a business which they're not ready to manage as a business. That people lack a lot of experience running businesses. Businesses are very different, and treating, your hobby as a business is very, very different and very dangerous for a lot of people because, yes, it's possible that people turn a passion into something that makes them money, but that's very rare and that's very difficult because there are so many hurdles to get over and so many things to take into consideration when you treat things as a business. So, in reflection of her, I think she tried multiple venues and things like that to turn her passion into a business, but ultimately, like, let her passion override business. And that's why she's struggling with a lot of this. And that's why, like, when you think about, like, the government and government contracts or movies and Hollywood and stuff like that, that's why everything is like millions of dollars, billions of dollars. Sorry, this is going way off, a little bit off track, but in the sense that, how much is your time worth? How much is your mental health worth? How much is your anxiety worth? Like, if those things, if you're having this much anxiety, then you have to, like, that's why government contracts are billions of dollars for these cars. Like, something that I could buy off of a car lot for $30,000, they charge the government $1 million for the same car. And it's because of these insurances and protections that go towards a business that, these layers of protection. So, to pad yourself, and I'm not telling her or I'm not telling anybody how to run a business, but, if you were going to turn your passion or love into something that you want to make money with, really look at yourself first and think about, like, what am I worth? And it doesn't matter if anybody's going to pay that. You have to think about yourself first and say, this is how much, this cosplay is going to cost, take this much time, and I don't want to stress about it, so I have to order stuff overnight that costs more money. So, stuff like that. Just, like, taking yourself into consideration, adding that into the value before you commit to something. So, being self-funded. So I don't know if she did appearances at conventions and things like that.
I think she did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, actually, I know she did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're doing that, the convention's going to give you a price. They're going to say, we can afford $2,000.
Or you give them, like, here's my rate, and you need to provide these things.
Right. Exactly. So, that I would say, and I hate to say it, but money does help circumvent and assist with reducing anxieties, like travel, especially for us. We pay an extra $100 a year just for Delta to get on the plane as Zone 1, just because we don't want the stress of, our photo bag being rejected, versus them saying the plane's full, we're sorry, you're gonna have to check this bag with all your photo gear in it. Yeah. So we pay extra for that. So it's, a lot of, and I feel like, and that helps with you, right? And with me.
It helps with me. I
on
have
our
bad
anxiety. Yeah. To know that we can get on the airplane
But that's
first.
something we had to look at
right.
each other. And Kevin's referring to $100. It's because of a credit card.
Right.
We got a Delta card.
Right.
And that card has a yearly fee.
Right.
It's not $100 every time we fly.
No, it's $100.
But we looked at each other and decided that cost was worth our business cost.
Yeah.
Because, when how often would you say we fly? I don't know.
I would say at least 10 times a year.
10 different places
Yeah.
a year, and like every time I don't even think about it anymore.
Right.
But a couple years ago, before we got this card, I would be like Kevin and I would be like glued to the closest to the door, waiting to get on because we had been rejected before, and our camera bag was dropped from a high place.
Yeah.
And you know, these thousands of dollars in this bag, and we're just like, I don't know. It just
sitting on the runway.
It takes so much. Like, I don't even think about it anymore. It's not even a thing.
So, you know, I know it doesn't directly apply to her,
No.
but I'm just saying in general, you know, if you do plan on turning your passion, something you really care about, and you really, really think that you can make money off of it, you know, really take a long time and think about how much your time is worth.
And it does.
And your sanity. That's the important part. Not your time, just your sanity. That's the big part.
Sanity is a big part of it. And it does, I mean, I will say it's not, you know, and I'm sure Mango SIrene, I think her real name's Nina.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say that. I hope I'm getting it right. It does suck a little bit of the fun out of it.
It does.
Now, I have fun with my photography. I'm not saying I don't. I do. But there are a lot of aspects that are just like soul sucking from it, that it's just like, oh geez, you know, and that's what it was. Photography was my hobby. I mean, it was something I went to school for, but it ultimately, when I got out of school, it just ended up being a hobby. And then, you know, we're trying to turn it into something. And I think that was really hard for me to grasp for a long time, was like, there's like all this other stuff I have to take care of that I'm not good at because I'm a creative person and I'm better at the creative side. But then when I have to deal with like admin stuff, I'm like, oh, and I just shut down.
You just take a shovel and you throw it on Kevin's plate, and then Kevin looks at it and says, what am I supposed to do with this?
No, I do it all now. I mean, Kevin did used to help me a lot with admin stuff. And then one day he looked at me and said, I'm not going to do it for you anymore.
But I mean, so yes. So in some aspects, I say, you know, I think part of this is just, you know, if you want to do it, or, you know, if she wants to ever come back, you know, find somebody
I don't think she will.
I know. Yeah. Fine.
She did make an interesting point that if you're past 30, it's not going to happen.
I disagree with that.
I kind of disagreed with that too.
Well, it depends what part of the market you want to hit, I guess.
Right. I think again, she was alluding maybe to the more sexy stuff.
Yeah. So this is looping back again towards, you know, you need someone that understands business and is willing to work in business, do poopy things like sales and things like that for you, where, you know, understanding your market segment, like what she was doing. Yes, she was targeting the sexy people and things like, or people that were into this.
She wasn't though.
Okay.
That was the problem. It was like there was a pressure there to do that.
Oh, to do that. Okay. But
I'm not saying she never did have a sexy cosplay.
Sure.
I don't know, but a lot of her cosplay is not. It's just
right.
You know.
But sorry, we even talked about it. The 60-year-olds beforehand, right? And that's why you said we'll talk about it later.
But they're not doing it as a business.
Right. Not yet. You can. You know, you just have to think about like who
your market is.
If you really want to take it as business, who's going to pay for you to come, or your time to come do stuff. So
but the sad part about it is, I mean, we didn't even touch on this, but we did say it last week, is cosplay is visual.
Yeah.
So a lot, you know, like it's and I don't know how to say this. I even see it on my end when I post pictures of people we've worked with. The ones, now there are outliers for absolutely sure. There are outliers to this statement. So this is not 100% factual, but it is a trend I do notice.
Okay.
If the cosplay we post has like a shorter skirt, or, you know, a little bit of cleavage, or, you know, something like a little, like, not even revealing, but even more so than others, it does get more attention than something that is completely covered up, or, you know, very I don't know. It does. Yeah. And it's, personally, my eyeballs don't care. Like, I like everything. I'm like, hey, you did a good job, you know.
Yeah.
But it is a weird trend that you see, and a lot of people that we work with do see it as well. I've talked to people who are like, you know, have said that, like, oh, I did this cosplay and I worked so hard on it, and it was like really heavily armored or something. Yeah. You know, it was really cool. And, you know, and then I posted this one of like me in doing a bikini version, and it got like 5 times the likes,
Yep.
you know, as something I worked way harder on. That is, excuse me, my throat is all.
Yeah. Drink
Gross.
some water, lady.
It is
Not soda pop. Water.
something that is prevalent in this community, and I think it's part of something else I want to talk about real quick. Is, you know, almost a week ago, we had a photo shoot, and it was with a guy, and we do not photograph a lot of guys. I'd say 99% of our clientele is women. Actually, it is. It's not that I say. It's like 99.5%.
Yeah, I would say aside from the time we were doing free photo shoots. Actually, when we did free photo shoots, we shot a lot more guys.
Yes.
But
the ratio was still heavily
it was still
women.
skewed, but it was still so let me think here. No, I would not 99. I would cuz
think about in the last year.
In the last year we shot at least 3 men.
That's it. Out of everybody.
Yeah.
And one of them was in a group surrounded by 2 other women.
But one of those women was dressed as a man.
Is it?
So how does that play into that? Anyway,
That's
yeah.
True.
No, I agree. Yes.
No, but he right at the beginning of the shoot, he's like, so I noticed, you know, when I went to book with you guys, I was looking at your Instagram, all your photos are of women. And I was like, you're right. And I was like, because that's
who reaches out
to us. Like, right. That's who wants to work with us, you know, and we you know, every once in a while we do get a guy, and, you know, we take it. Yeah. But it's the demographics are very, I'd say it's getting a little better, but it still is way more women than men. And as a result, female cosplayers, a lot of their fans, you know, they do have female fans, but a lot of them are
mostly men, yes.
And so as a result, that affects, you know, you see what I'm going.
It affects what they like. It's because men are pigs. Like. You can say that. We're disgusting.
No,
animals.
I'm not saying all men are like that, you know. And this is why I appreciate Kevin in the way, because Kevin, the cute, lovely man that he is, appreciates cosplay regardless of where it's coming from.
Well, for me, I would say, you know, the more sexualized images that do tend to get the more likes, like, inspires a more visceral, like, you know, the primal evolutionary
people like
trigger,
pretty
right?
people.
Yes, yeah,
that's
fine.
Not new.
Yes. That sounds so bad to say, though.
It does. And okay, so this is coming from someone who I don't find myself attractive. And, like, I don't need, you know, please don't come in there and say I'm cute and stuff. It's fine. It's on the scale of prettiness, I am not up there. And even I, you know,
you can appreciate a beautiful person. Yeah,
right.
Sure,
like,
sure.
I mean, it's not, and it's like you said, it's an instant, it's like your mind is like pretty, right? Or handsome, you know,
right.
Or whatever, you know, however you like your people, right?
Yeah.
And since cosplay is so visual,
right.
that's what it hinges on.
It does.
And it's not right, and we're not saying it's right.
Right.
I wish it wasn't, because I, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I could be popular. But it's that's how it is. And
it is unfortunate.
Never be.
Yeah.
It's Mango SIrene and Nina, I don't know, brought this up a lot. Is like, it's like you have to look this way. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's right, but unfortunately, because cosplay is so visual, it's basically, you're a model. You're turning into a model, basically.
Yep.
When you want to do it.
You're not an armor stand. Or no, yeah. Unfortunately, in the eyes of the cosplay community. I'm not, I know, this is so hard to, like, talk about without, like, it's sounding
hard.
Yeah,
I know I'm not trying to sound like
offend people. I know
poo head, but it's I think that's what people think when, you know, they're fans of your page and they're just looking at your images. You're doing it because you're like, hey, I like this character, you know,
right,
or I
resonate.
God, their outfit is so great,
yeah.
Or I watched this anime and I love them. I played this game and I was just like, oh my god, and that's why we cosplayed or tried to cosplay from Witcher. I liked it. I liked the story. I was like, ugh, and it just so happened the people are really pretty in that video game, so it was like, I want to be them. But
sure,
unfortunately, a lot of people that just like things for just the pictures are viewing you as a model. They're not viewing you. They're not saying
they don't know you. They don't know the effort.
Yes, they don't. A lot of people don't know the struggle or the effort you win, the hours you put in. Again, not everybody thinks like this, but a lot of people do, and that's what a lot of these fan bases are for people like Yaya and Jessica and probably Mango SIrene as well. We're just there for the visual.
Sure.
There are fans obviously there for the craft and her help in the tutorials, which was what I was kind of there for when I was watching her streams. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it is that. I hope I'm making sense. So they're viewing you as a model, not as, I work
a craft
hard on this.
Person.
Yeah, not as a seamstress or a creator. Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Yes, and it's a struggle I see cosplayers deal with every day.
Yeah, and
it's a topic that constantly gets brought up.
Even more difficult if you're live streaming it too, because you're dealing with some of the worst humans. Not saying that everybody, very small percentage of people,
but they come rolling through.
Yeah, oh boy, do they ever that's why even on
my stream, and my stream is so stupid. Like I had people
even
say like
on everybody's stream
the meanest stuff, and I'm like. All right.
Like even the pro streamers that we watch, the people that get like tens of thousands of people watching their streams,
they're gonna get it worse than we ever would have.
They are magnets for it, but it's still like it's this all comes down to just being anonymity, right? People have no accountability these days. You are an anonymous name on a screen. Yep. And you can say disgusting things and be a disgusting human on the internet and tell people that you're wearing too much clothing and I want to see you more naked. Please clip that so then I can be incriminated against me. But that is what, anonymity gives people. It gives people just to be assholes, I guess.
Yep. And it's not okay, but it's an interesting.
What can we do about it?
Yes. I was gonna bring up something else she brought up, and then I just lost it. I don't know.
No, I'm sorry.
There was, I think everybody should listen to it. We're not doing it justice. I'm sorry.
No.
But and I think, like I say this a lot. We're really lucky. We work with a lot of great people. Oh, here's what I'm saying. When you get to the professional level in cosplay, which I don't know if there's like a boundary line of like where you are, but I guess there's a lot of like fakeness and like pretending to get along.
That's with any industry or anything really. Yeah. I mean, like there is no, especially like I said, once you start getting into treating things like a business, there is going to be a lot of crap that's being thrown at you that's not true. Friendships are only as long as the deal lasts and stuff like that. That's not to say that I have much experience in sales and stuff like that. I definitely do not. But like, you can see it. Like when I interact with coworkers and stuff, like people are all buddy until like one person doesn't get their way, and then it just instantly flips, and it's like so. Fakeness is.
You protect yourself, and then you don't have to worry about what other people. You do you be a good person,
right?
And fuck everybody else, really. I mean, but like I said, we've been lucky we work with amazing people who, I don't. I mean, I don't really know people, but it's just like everybody's so great and nice, and it's hard for me to imagine people like that. But when things do happen to them, they can turn a little bit. She said Mango SIrene did say she was becoming a little mean because of all the stress she was under.
Sure.
Which I can totally see that happening to me.
My cynicism in the world is very high. So I don't project that onto other people. I hold my words to myself, but does that contribute to my fakeness? I don't know, but I think it's, once again, letting people, I'm not saying that she wasn't, but just saying that like people that are not prepared to turn their passion into a business and treat it as a business, because it's a very hard line and very distinct thing. You have to treat everything very differently once you change your mentality and say, this is a business, this is how I make my living, versus I really love doing this and I can make money doing it. Saying I want to make my rent is dependent. Full-time. Exactly.
Doing it part-time, making money on the side with it is very different than doing it as your
saying I need to pay rent job. With this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Maybe
there was a lot. I went onto her Twitter today. She has been updating it the past couple days, which I was kind of surprised by, because she did say that being on her social media again was giving her anxiety. But I think people had some questions and she was looking to answer them. I'm not, this could be me projecting, but some of the tweets did seem a little salty to the cosplay community as a whole. So I think, she's really just done right now. It seems like it just, and that's fine. Like, I've been there where I'm just like, I'm done. Like, I'm not thinking about this anymore. I'm not doing this, whatever it is in life anymore. Like, this is, we've been there. And not, all these tweets are fine, but there was like one where I was like, I'm not going to talk about it, but it's just, I think she's just super, super duper done right now. And I think it's affecting some of kind of how she's talking sometimes.
Sure. Or we're
Yeah, I was saying, I could be misinterpreting it. There just was a little salt in one of the tweets, and I was like, well, okay.
we're adding tone where there is no tone.
Yeah, and that could have been the situation. But like I said, she said it too. She's just done. She's over it. It's now a hobby again.
Oh, good.
It's not, she does want to make cosplay in the future, but she's not going to be like updating about it on her Facebook or anything. So I don't know. I'm interested in hearing if any of you guys, I know a couple of you guys did listen to it, what you guys think about it and what you learned. I didn't learn much. I personally, I'm trying to think. But I was just interested. It was interesting to hear someone who was pretty big, and what they had to say about it.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know. So, let me know what you guys thought, because I know a couple of you did listen to it, and if you haven't listened to it, we will link to it in our YouTube description. So if you got an hour and a half to listen to it,
double time.
I would suggest it for especially mainly if you're looking to do professionally, which I know a couple people that listen might want to. So yeah. We just babbled and stuttered, so sorry.
That's all right. So Kevin's business tip of the week.
Oh, dear God.
Are you gonna cut this out now? Probably. Buy Bitcoins. I don't know.
Jesus. I don't know. Is that your segment now?
Yeah. No, I don't know. In the month of August, it hit its all-time high of almost $5,000 per coin, and took a big dip this morning and is back up. So
I fell asleep.
Yes, volatility of the market. Anyways, if you want to be rich, how much risk you got?
Thank you guys. Thank you to those who commented this week. We really appreciate it. If you want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/elitecosplay or elitecosplay.com/shop. Ooh, my voice didn't come through on that. That was supposed to be full powered, and it wasn't. Anyways, thank you for listening. I hope we provided some insights. I hope we did an okay job talking.
I know she's not looking for a response, but not, I might have been a little harsh, but that's my interpretation. Like I said, I don't know the full situation, so.
I mean, she's pretty open about it. It's just like, I did what I thought
anyway,
I loved, I don't love it anymore. That's
All
the gist of it. Anyways, we love you guys though, and we'll see everybody next week.
All right, bye.
Bye.